And we are up. Just make sure I got it on this end here. We are up. There we go. Yeah. Ta-da. All right. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Black Buzz. Why are you smiling already, Chanel? What's going on?
I'm a smiley person. It's okay for me to be happy, sir. It's
Oh,
okay.
I cross you guys. I guess I see I'm crossing names. I said Chanel, but it sounded like Cheryl, right? Yeah, it's
It's a
okay.
little remix. It happens. It happens.
It's okay. Don't worry. My apologies, folks, that we are a little bit tardy, but we have a great guest today. Technical difficulties. Every now and then we run into that. Sometimes when we're on here, my stuff goes down. But we were able to sort out that technical piece. This is Black Buzz. If you are Black and an entrepreneur, male, female, whatever the situation is, we are willing to have you on here on our platform to talk to us about your business, talk to us about what you're doing out there in the community and for the community. We are on Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube, aren't we, Shay?
Yes, we are blackbuzz.to for YouTube, blackbuzz.to for Instagram, blackbuzz.to@gmail.com for mail and inquiries.
All right. So if you are interested, just hit us up on any of the platforms, or like she just mentioned, the email as well. So we will reach out to you when you reach out to us. And thanks in advance for supporting. We have today a special guest, Miss Cheryl Sutherland. How you doing, Miss?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good.
Well, we're gonna have to upgrade that. Otherwise, we're not gonna be able to have this
Oh,
conversation.
you know what? I'm gonna
So,
channel
come on.
somebody down here. I'm gonna channel somebody. I'm fantastic. That's what he always says to me. I'm fantastic. I'm gonna put in my earpiece here, and so that I can deal with this better. Okay. As I said, good afternoon, everyone. And what I'm gonna do now, Cheryl, is I'm gonna read your bio. Is that okay with you?
I mean, it's always hilarious when people read my bio because then I'm like, oh wait, I did do those things. So please go ahead. I need the gassing today. Gas me up, sir.
And if I miss anything out, don't worry. In our chat, you can fill it in. All right. Okay. It came from Chanel. It says Cheryl's bio. So, Cheryl Sutherland is a transformational speaker, business strategist, and founder of PleaseNotes, a for-purpose company of affirmation-filled products. Creator Cheryl felt restless and underwhelmed at her 9 to 5 after spending over 1,400 hours in learning and facilitating personal development, coaching, and reigniting her inner creativity. Cheryl created a company that inspires women to step into their own power by building confidence, clarity, and creativity. Love the alliteration there. With a playful, energetic style, Cheryl has been able to grace the stage and work with different companies to spread the message of mindset growth and human potential. She has worked with companies such as Wonder Women Tech, WeWork, the Women's Leadership Intensive, FreshBooks, and I love this one, Badassery Magazine, the Durham District School Board, and more. From panels, keynotes, and workshops, Cheryl curates and presents material that leaves attendees with actionable steps and the inspiration to start making immediate changes in their lives. In 2015, Cheryl started her company with one item, the Please Notes sticky note, and fully launched the brand with a successful Kickstarter campaign. Since then, Oh, we're going to get to that. Don't worry, we're going to get to it. I'm glad you have things there. Since then, Please Notes has expanded to include a suite of products that cater to customers worldwide, including Spain, UK, Canada, Latin America, Asia. Man, you're giving away everything in our interview
Honestly,
here.
like, and it's so funny. I was like, which version of my bio did they
It's
use?
okay. You're going to tell us
Cool.
more, though. No worries. You'll elaborate. Each purchase contributes 10% of the profit to support women empowerment initiatives in her local community. Please notes and Cheryl Sutherland have been endorsed by renowned change makers Les Brown, Monique Coleman with the words, "This is a gift. This is special and extraordinary and deserves to be shared with the world." As a women's empowerment expert, author, and entrepreneur, Cheryl Sutherland and Please Notes have been featured in Forbes, Huffington Post, Fast Company, American Express, Open Forum, Thrive Global, Youngry, Hello, Giggles, and InStyle magazine. Cheryl resides between Los Angeles and Toronto, Ontario. My Lord. Welcome, Miss Cheryl.
Thank you for having me. Like, I feel like my whole life just flashed before my eyes.
I love it.
Like
Every
my,
bit
I
of it.
appreciate it. I
I
appreciate it.
love every bit of it. You're black. You are an entrepreneur. You're a business. Oh my goodness. There's so much in there. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. I mean, I know there's a lot there, but give us okay, start with your background. Start with your background. You can throw in pepper it with your school you went, I know you're between Los Angeles and Toronto now, but just give us some other thing before we go into like the meat of it all right?
All right, I'll give you everything else before you get the meat and potatoes.
Yes.
Basically, I'm a first generation Canadian. My parents both hail from St. Vincent.
All right.
And I was born in Calgary, Alberta. And then I did what I feel like most people consider to be the things that you have to do to be successful. So I, worked really hard. I started working when I was like, I don't know, how early is it legal? Like 13, 14? Started
I think
working,
it's
saved up
15,
money.
but we'll ignore that part.
I mean, like it was over the table. It wasn't under the table, other than babysitting, but you know what I mean. And then from there, I went to school. Ended up going to college and getting a degree in marketing, and then did all the things that you're supposed to do in order to be successful, right? Like I had the house, I had the car, I had an adult job working at the bank, and I was still like, if this is what success is supposed to be, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. And
Right.
then it was at that point where I had encountered personal development work, and that really kind of changed and opened up the way that I saw my world and my life, that it wasn't just a list of accomplishments and things I needed to check off. It was, how am I feeling during this time? Like, do I feel accomplished? Like, am I actually helping people? Am I actually living the life that I'm here to live? Not just like what I'm supposed to do to be successful, but like, am I internally fulfilled? And that actually took me on that journey where I was able to manifest an amazing opportunity in California. So I ended up driving down there, living and working for a couple of different entrepreneurs. And then that's where I started my own business, because I saw the marked difference that mindset work, personal growth work, that sort of inner magic really changed your life for the better and in a huge way. And I feel like there's definitely an opportunity for people of color to take a look at this for themselves, especially Black people. Like, we have an opportunity to start really dismantling a lot of thought processes and stuff that are not serving us, and therefore allowing us to take us to this next level, whether it's feeling accomplished in their own work, whether it's, choosing to switch careers or let go of something that's really safe and really concrete, really secure, in order to really live the lives that we're here to live. So, and then of course, through that series of adventures, I ended up moving back from LA to end up in Toronto, because I was like, I'm ready for a new adventure, and I've never lived in Toronto. I've only come up here for Caravana a couple of times, and I'm here for all the good food, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, chocolate people. And then that's how I ended up here. So I've been here for about, I want to say, almost 4 years before the Rona struck. And now I've actually just transitioned over to Niagara Falls because why pay Toronto rent when everything is closed?
Oh man, she's there and she's like throwing them jabs in, huh? All right. I mean, thanks for that. So 2015 is when you started this business?
It is. It is. I have like a small toddler now. Like when it comes to this business, it's like 6 years old almost.
So in terms of how did that come into play? And I know, you told us in the bio and even in what you just said, you're just not comfortable with just that 9 to 5 or that regular thing, right? You know, just transition there real quickly and just give us some insights into what it was like getting it started.
Yeah, for sure. So I started my own company after working for the two other female-led entrepreneur companies.
Hmm.
And I really saw how people were able to get different results when they thought different of themselves, when
Hmm.
they felt that they were deserving of having the things that they want, when they felt confident in the things that they were doing, when they valued themselves and therefore allowing people to pay them appropriately, then it was easier for them to have business success. While if you don't do that change on the inside, you're not going to have those results on the outside, no matter what you do. I find that business is actually one of the biggest personal growth workshops that you could ever be in because it's a direct correlation. If you're not working on your internal stuff, then like it's going to show up in your business and you're not going to have like the money or the success or the connections or the contacts. While if you do that inner work and you give to yourself in that way and you really plug in and say, you know what, everything is working out for me. Like I do live a blessed life. That's when the most random things will fall into place for you. And, you be connected with the right people and then be able to create that long lasting success that you desire. So for me, I think my turning point in regards to quitting my job and like actually starting a business because I never
Right.
really had my own business, that really came down to the fact that this is something that I was so passionate about. Like it's something that I use on an everyday basis and it's changed the way I see my life. I've affected other people and that like my relationships are. So this was like the biggest gift that somebody had given to me. So who am I not to give that to someone else? And I also noticed that there was nobody else out there that was really doing this in the wellness industry in the way that I wanted to do it. So with that passion and with that drive, and ask my mom, and I've always been terribly ambitious. Like I just knew that this was the next natural step. It's kind of like falling in love. You just kind of know. And I'm just so honestly, I'm so appreciative and so grateful that this was my calling. Like this is what I get to do, not only to support other people, but like to support myself. And I live a blessed life. What else can I say?
So why sticky notes? I used to work with a lady who her desk, everything is just covered in sticky notes, and she knows what each one is for. So my question is, why sticky notes?
Yeah, so I started with sticky notes because during that phase when I was still figuring out like what is it that I want to do, what way do I want to support people, I noticed that I quite quickly forgot how capable I was, how amazing I was, how fantastic things could be because I had fallen into this thought process of lesser than due to the last place that I was working at, where my boss and the leadership team in that particular company, it was not reflective of who I was, what I was wanting to create, and just like the mindset that I had, right? And so I think one of the biggest things is I was like, I wish there was a way that I could remind myself every single day or easily of who I am and where I'm going towards and how I want to support myself. And that was with sticky notes. I think most Black women have seen, what is it? Oh, Being Mary Jane. And I was all like, sticky notes. I could surround myself with sticky notes with affirmations on them. And that's where the first product came from, was just like having a different, and this is the newer version of them, but it had a different image and a different affirmation on every single page because it's just like sometimes, especially when you're doing something new, you need somebody to support you. You need to have those words that you can internalize to say, like, yes, I could do this. Yes, I can take this next step. Yes, I should believe in myself and I can believe in myself. And that's where the biggest change comes from, is that level of reiteration so that you can start, actually doing the things that you want to do and come with that sense of courage when you do face obstacles.
folks, well, just before we continue, just go out and go get your sticky note, please notes right now, please.
Just
Just
get
go do
all of the
that.
things.
Just go, whatever is there, right? We have the owner here, we have the CEO, and she's telling us all about.
And today's the last day of the spring sale too. So if you use the code SPRING, you get 15% off. Like it's a win-win-win.
Uh-oh, Black Buzz is doing big things, my lord. All right. So okay, what we're gonna do then is we're gonna pull up your social media platforms and just talk to us, because I see I have it on my phone here, and so we're gonna be very dynamic in terms of, and walk us through it, talk to us about all the different things there. I'm seeing journals, I'm seeing all these give us some ideas of why this particular thought, or what our affirmation, these type of things, just to what are we pulling up here first, Shay?
Her website.
Okay. I
So if
like the
anybody
picture. It looks
knows
very
Leslie Ann
inviting.
Paris, she's an
Mhm.
influencer here. That's her. When I
Okay.
first moved here, she ended up supporting me with this a delicious campaign. So like shout
Mhm.
out to Leslie. Clip, clip.
Yeah, it's a nice picture. It looks very inviting.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
So at the top, we actually have the signature items, which are the guided journals. So there's 2 physical journals, and it really comes down to like, what is it that you want to create? What are the obstacles that you're dealing with? With the
Hmm.
clarity journal, it comes in an array of colors, but that one's really focused on what is it that I actually want? What are the next steps that I want to take in life? Is this life really serving me? Who do I want to be? And basically, it allows you to really do that introspective work to ask yourself those questions so that you can start creating a life that you really want to. Whether it's, you decide you want to go back to school, you want to switch jobs, you want to get a raise, whatever, that's where the clarity journal comes in. Then we can take a look at the gratitude journal. Now,
What?
that one's really focused
Okay.
on the practice of gratitude. Now, that one's key right now because it's all about being here in the present and not making everything okay, but just noticing all the things that we've been given and just
Hmm.
enjoying it, right? Whether it's, you get a free donut in the Tim Hortons drive-through, or somebody smiles at you, or you got a really great email. Like we have the opportunity to really steep ourselves in that level of joy and appreciation. And therefore, we're actually lowering our stress levels. We're actually allowing manifestation. If you believe in law of attraction or manifestation, we're allowing it to come to us easier. And then overall, we're able to be happy without having to have outside stuff change at all, right? So I think that's super important because we often distract ourselves or think we need something outside of ourselves in order to change the way we feel, while we have the opportunity to do that all by ourselves. So there's those 2.
Before you go up, Shay, come back down there. So when you come up with things like this, or this particular, gratitude, clarity, dream, and manifestation, what's the I don't know. What's the mindset? What's the process that say, okay, you know what, I'm going to organize it this way, or this is what I'm going to aim for? Like, where does that? How do you come? How do you do that? Normally, if somebody's creating something, I ask, well, how did you put, and let's just say they're doing a lotion. Tell me about it. How do you put it together? That's a.
For me, it really came down to the fact of, how do I say this? I started off with one journal, and that was the clarity
Okay.
journal.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that one, it was really a culmination of a plethora of the personal growth work that I had been through in
Hmm.
regards to really figuring out, like, what do I want? Like, what is success to me? Who do I want to be? And I feel like I know for myself, there's been so much time where you're just planning to live your life the way that you feel like you have to or that you should. And
Right.
then you get to this point where you're like, this isn't what I want. So, like, how do I figure out what I want? And by using the different activities within those journals, then you're actually able to create those and figure that out for yourself and really chart a path that feels right to you, that's in alignment with your gifts and your talents and your zone of genius. That really introspective work that allows you to have all of the magic and really feel like you're satisfied with your life, right? And then from there, it was like, okay, I noticed that there's an opportunity to play in different ways. So I actually created a guided gratitude journal. There's also a dream journal. There's a manifestation journal. And
Mhm.
that last one that's there is the inclusion notebook. And that was a partnership that we, myself and this amazing woman, Jamile Cruz from IND 101, we created it to really have this conversation and really for people in becoming allies and delving into the anti-racism work and just getting into like, how do I change my perception and allow myself to live my life or to see things through the eyes of another person. As we know, like personal growth and the unlearning process of these like negative thought processes or these untrue thought processes is personal growth work. So whether you're looking at just learning how to be a better ally or like how do I create a more inclusive space, this goes through like different privileges, like whether it's race or religion or, you know, even just being disabled or like an able-bodied person. There's levels of privilege to that as well. So we're covering the spectrum when it comes to personal growth work.
Okay. This is so how does technology affect this? Because this is like, you know, people actually getting a physical journal, or you know, does technology affect what you're doing here, or are you working on something in that arena where people can?
It's funny. There's a couple little things that we're doing on the back end that might be coming out in the next couple of years in regards to bringing an element of technology to it. However, when it comes to this sort of introspective work, like you've seen people that will do journaling with voice notes, journaling like on their app, or like, you know, just typing it out or just like digitally writing it. When you actually put pen to paper and you have that level of focus, it actually amplifies the thing that you're going through. It slows it down a lot. So if you're going through like you're attempting to figure out like, why do I feel like I'm not good enough to do this? Or why do I feel like conflict with this particular subject? That level of focus really allows you to open it up and find your solutions quicker and easier. So I like doing it pen to paper because it's the most effective way of doing it versus just doing a voice note, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to say technology is supporting in regards to helping me get the word out and like bringing people in. However, when it comes to doing the actual work, doing it with the pen to paper, or in fact going to one of the workshops and stuff that I've got going on, very supportive.
All right. Tell me more. So tell me more about what I see a bag there. That's something that your company does too, right?
Yeah, so that is just like, it was a collaboration between myself and an influencer out of Alberta, where it was a portion of the funds were going to the Alberta Children's Hospital. And so, of course, right now, like we're all wearing masks and we're not seeing people. So it's nice to like be able to just like show a little positivity and be like, hey, yeah, there's this that might brighten up somebody's day or even brighten up yours. Like really stating that intention of like, you know, life loves me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is falling into place. Like those sort of things really, really change the way that your day goes when you're very intentional with these things.
And intentionality is definitely something that I'm seeing in terms of, you know, you're very deliberate. Or these are affirmation cards.
Yeah, and these are brand new. They just came out this year, and I'm trying to find my deck because they are so fun. Basically, it's a deck. I use them. Oh, there they are. It's a deck of 65 cards, and you can either use them if you're into tarot cards or, you know, angel cards. You could use them in collaboration with them, or you could just use them by themselves to set an intention for the day or to, you know, spark a journaling practice. And then you can pull one, and they all have something separate. So this one, what is it? It's always been me. So like really, like you're the key, and like look inside and all these different things. So it's got like, I don't know. I really love them. They all have different artistry on them, and yeah, they're super fun to play with.
So which one of your products? I think, I don't know if you had said it earlier, like people gravitate towards the most.
Definitely right now, I think with the Rona season, the gratitude journals have been a great gift for other people, and then also just a great, you know, gift to use internally. And then these affirmation cards have been selling like hotcakes. Was not as expecting them to move as quickly as they have, and I'm glad. I'm actually going into a second printing. These are supposed to be limited edition, and the people have spoken.
I saw pens as well. You saw?
Yeah, so those are a fun little collabo. They just popped up on the site. And then so they come in pack of threes, and there's only 20 sets available to play with, but they all have like an affirmation on the pen as well. So I also feel like as you're writing, and if you're reading one of these affirmations, you're also going to, again, subconsciously absorb that message too.
All right. Anything else in terms of what you want to highlight from?
No, y'all have done a really great job. The only other thing that I would want to say is that the new on the site are the workshops and the courses. So I do a couple different workshops. If people, I feel like when it comes to journaling and then practicing gratitude, people are like, I know that this is good for me, but like getting started is really tricky. It kind of is like when you're playing with like eating vitamins, you know, like I know it's good for me, but like what, right? So with these courses, especially Journey Your Way to Clarity, and then the other one, which is Gratitude in You, it's like the Beginner's Guide to Gratitude. We actually help take you through that practice of learning how to practice gratitude, the tangible effects of it, like how does this actually affect me on a day-to-day basis, and then just getting into some experiential exercises so people can start playing with it and just really enjoy that process as well.
How many products do you have in total? Like different?
That's a fun question. Not including the different like colorways. I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd say over 25 easily. 25.
And you said you started out with one, and then you move. How long did it take you to move to the next item?
It really depends. I feel like I only really create things when I'm inspired to. So with the sticky notes, I had the sticky notes for maybe about 6 months before I started work on the journal. And then with the journal, that one, I had that for probably about a year before I brought out the next product. And then of course, usually when I do launch new products, I do doing Kickstarter. So there's actually going to be a brand new planner that's happening this year, which I'm really excited about because I've never done a planner before. My brain was like, no planners. And I found a partner and a layout that I really, really love. And it really incorporates, again, those same sort of teaching mechanisms of like, how to plan well, like how do you plan your goals well, being in alignment with your goals, and really bringing in like that visioning component, that like, what does it feel like to be the successful version of you, and then allowing you to build goals from there, right? And then whether you're using time blocking or whether you decide to use like a Pomodoro technique or whatever, like this will really support you in making sure you have those. And then as always with all of my stuff, I always have like a different affirmation or inspirational quote on the pages as well. So it makes it super fun.
Okay, being from a Caribbean background, you decided to step away from the norm. How was that transition in regards to friends and family? And if you are Vinci parents, I know that was a conversation to be had.
Speak for yourself, Shay. Okay, some of us over here, we like the regular.
It's funny because I think so. My father passed away years ago before I even thought of starting this. And I know that if he was here when I was doing it, he'd be like, no, because he's very much one that's like, do what I say in order to succeed, because he just wanted the best for us. Yes. When it came to my mom, like I told her I was moving to the States like maybe a week or something before I did. And I was so nervous to tell her. And she's like, okay, cool. Like, okay, about this show that I'm watching. And I'm like, so my mom has never really been super invested in, I don't want to say she hasn't been invested in my future. She's just been not attached to the way that I do things, because she's already known that I'm going to be successful in anything that I do. Nice. So I think for me, usually it comes from people outside of my family, like people that are like, oh, you're Black, you shouldn't be doing this. Or like, what? You're a Black girl and you're like talking about your feelings, or you're going to therapy. Like, this is just really weird. Right. And I think the more of us that show up and say like, no, like it's okay to talk about your feelings, it's okay to have conversations about dreams and stuff like that, then the more we give permission to other people to do it. Like when I was talking to my uncle about, you know, investing some money in my company and like just rejigging a lot of the stuff that I had, he's like, you know what, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and, you know, invest in your dreams and step forward. And I was literally crying on the phone because I never expected that especially from a Black male, that anybody would be like, yeah, go ahead and do that. And he's older. He's probably like in his 50s, right? And to hear, no, he's in his 60s for sure. He just drinks enough sunset to like look very
Hey,
young.
love it!
Right? But like, I think that we just have to keep pushing this. We have to keep having these conversations, because our mental health and our mental wellness is so important. And just being able to show up and start creating new patterns, starting creating new examples for our next generation, so that they can say, you know what, I can do this. I believe in myself. I can do different things. Like, my nephew is actually going to Japan to teach English and like do all these different things. Like, my family is very dynamic. However, I know that I'm very blessed in that way, and that some people don't allow their kids or their family members to do that yet.
Have you ever felt that because you are Black, there were certain things you had to do twice the amount of work to reach where you are now? Because in this type of industry, we know there's a lot of people out there, but have you ever, we already know it's out there, but have you ever felt it like directly, because I'm Black, that's why I got this response, or that's why I didn't get an opportunity?
You know what? It's very interesting. And the interview I did for Fast Company really goes into this, where I was going to a pitch event and I was treated very much different than those that were there for like tech. And of course, you know, you've got your tech bros, but my business, and even like statistically, if you're looking at businesses run by Black women, like that we do it very well, that we're, you know, like we have returns over and over, that we do an amazing job with building these businesses and them being successful. However, when it comes to having the finances that we need in order to reach the goals that we really want to do, we've, you know, been behind the eight ball, because we don't have the connections, because we're not seen as being like professional or entrepreneurial or all this other garbage, right? So I definitely feel like I felt that more in America than I have when I was here in Canada, only because it was very clear. I don't want to say, it's very clear the pockets that they put you in when you are a Black American woman, and they only expect this much from you, or your level of capability is going to be this much. The level of disrespect is much higher as well, versus here in Canada or here in places like Toronto, where it is definitely more multicultural. The Black community is much more thriving. I didn't get that as much. If I had attempted to start this business in Alberta, it would have been a wrap, because they don't even like creatives to even get into personal growth work or that sort of stuff and like really be like out of the box in Alberta. There's no way it would have happened.
That's interesting. I mean, in light of what we've been through in 2020, and you know, not just the pandemic, but I'm talking about, you know, George Floyd and the backlash that or the social upheavals, right? Especially around racism. Did that affect you at all? Did the pandemic affect the company, or was it even more of a motivator for you to push harder as a Black person, or to encourage individuals who might feel down? I mean, what can you tell us about that?
Definitely. So there's like that time was definitely some complicated stuff. I think as a result of people really understanding the disparity between white-owned businesses and Black-owned businesses, there was definitely a push to highlight and bring to light more businesses of color. And then as a result, by the end of May, I had increased my followers. I think I was like around 8,000 followers on Instagram. And then at the end of it, I was at 14. And exactly, right. So with that, it was like, there was
sorry, so 14 to what? Give me that number again.
From 8,000 followers to 14,000 followers.
Okay.
Right. So there was definitely internally, like, I had a conflict, because I was like, I finally hit over 10K. I should be proud of myself and excited. But then there's also, are these people only following me because I'm Black? And also, if I was white, would I have had this level of exposure to my business previously? And I've seen a lot of people that are Caucasian women that are in the same space that started, you know, way after me. And again, they have different connections, different people, et cetera, et cetera. However, their success in the places they're being seen in the media are much different than the places that I have to really push in order to get into. So there is that context is there as well. And then pandemic wise, like I used to do a lot of like, in-person events and in-person shows and selling my stuff at like, you know, Black owned Unity and events like that. And so it's really made that push for me to focus on my sales online. Like, how do I figure this out? Because the whole time that I've had the company, I've had my website. However, I haven't been able to figure out like, how do I like do this marketing thing? Like, how do I bring in all these different sales? How do I make people convert or make this convert? And now it's just like, I don't really have a choice in regards to, do I want to do this, or like, do I need to focus on this like sales funnels and stuff like that? So I'm really grateful. And honestly, I feel so blessed to be here in Canada, where there's just so many different opportunities for support from our government versus if I went through this when I was still living in America, it would have been completely different. But one thing that I will say is that now it's really opened up a space for me to focus on the things that I love doing, like public speaking and facilitating workshops and just implementing them in a way that people can still get this information and still start applying it without having to, you know, pay for a rental for a space in downtown Toronto or worry about parking and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm really grateful for this time. It's really allowed me to move forward in my business and have to really concentrate on certain aspects. So I'm doing less busy work and more like result oriented things. And I'm really loving the level of accessibility people now have to my products and services. But, you know, it's always this weird double-edged sword. Like, I'm getting attention because I'm Black.
Take it,
and
girl.
then also like, oh, my products are amazing and they're changing lives. So
work right. I was gonna say, work it out. It's okay. You can have that little in between feeling there, but you know, you work it out. The followers are there, and you're gonna be doing that. Speaking of Instagram, is there anything that you want to highlight on Instagram? Do we have that up, Shay? Or
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
how does Instagram look in terms of versus your website?
I how does it look? It's a grid. It's pretty much about the same.
She tried me there. She said a grid.
Now, like, playing a little bit more with the reels.
Okay.
There's definitely you can see the affirmation card decks there.
Right.
There's just like a little bit more of my face in places.
Okay.
But yeah, it pretty much looks the same, except there's a bunch more of the quotes and inspirational goodies.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to know if there's anything in particular that you wanted to, you know, highlight on Instagram and all that, you know.
Other than visit Please Notes Goods on Instagram, give me a follow, like some stuff, share some stuff. The algorithm has been really, really tricky as of late, and so I find that like people have been seeing less and less of my stuff. So if anybody is liking it and sharing it and saving it, that would be very much appreciated.
That's right, folks. We are talking to Miss Cheryl Sutherland, and the name of her company is Please Notes Sticky Notes, right?
It's just Please Notes Goods because it's
just Please Notes
workshops
Goods.
and
okay. All right.
goods.
So Please Notes Goods. All right.
You're gonna go back up and click that follow button, right?
Yes. Black Buzz is already following you.
It's already. It's you know, no. We're automatic there. And so this is Instagram. All right. I like it. I love it. And you share it, like you put something up all the time in terms of like an inspirational thing, or is it always product based? Like how do you interact with social media? Like,
for sure. So I attempt to do a mix of products, workshops that I'm doing, or events that I'm speaking at, podcasts that I'm speaking at, things that I'm facilitating. And then, oh, look, there's me. And then just inspirational quotes, because I think I know I had a lot of difficulty, especially after May. Like, it was just to go on even stuff like Facebook. It's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of back and forth, and it's just like lower vibration. So I attempt to be that person that's like, hey, I'm here with you. Let's do some, you know, affirmations. Let's focus on what's good today. Like, what is your daily practice? What are your thought processes? Like, let's boost your feelings, and so you feel better throughout the day.
So if I ask you just shoot me some affirmation just off the. Can you do it off the top of your head right now?
Always.
All right. Give me some affirmations.
I cannot give you
us.
bars, but I can give you affirmations. So the top 3 affirmations that I always use, and I know I already said some of them already, is like, everything is always working out for me. Everything is always falling into place, and life loves me are definitely my top 3 favorites.
Okay.
And then depending on what you feel like you're going through, it might be better to start off with something general and then get more specific. So let's say, for example, if you're attempting to create some more money in your life, if money really is attached to safety and feeling like you're supported and taken care of. So the more you boost up that feeling of being supported and taken care of, then it's easier for you to attract the money that you like. So with that, it's just like, really focusing on those ones that I even just said, like the super general ones, like everything is always working out for me and I'm always taken care of. Or you could get more specific, like I'm abundant in all areas of my life and like things are always flowing to me. Things are always working out for me. I can create anything that I desire. And then, you know, just playing a little bit more, whether it's like, I'm so excited to, be with the amazing people that I'm with, or it could be I'm living a joyful life, or I choose to be happy, or I choose grace. Like just coming from that space of this is what I want, this is what's happening for me, and that's it.
Miss Cheryl Sutherland sharing some of her affirmations with us. I love it. I love it. I love it. Please notes goods. Please note. Y'all need to go support this young lady right here. She is out there doing her thing in the community and for the community. What other thoughts you have, Miss Shay, in terms of
what was one of the hardest lessons you had to speak to yourself to get over?
I think the biggest thing that I had to get over was just the way that I spoke to myself. It's funny because I didn't realize that voice in my head that was like, no, you're gonna look dumb doing that, or like that's stupid, like why would you ever think of doing that, wasn't actually me. And then so when I noticed that, I'm like, I wouldn't even talk to like my worst enemy the way that I spoke to myself oftentimes. And that even came down to not only like the way that I dressed or like what I wanted to do for activity, just just even wanting to get out of the house and try something new, whether it was skiing or something that's like, it's like Black people don't ski, you're gonna look dumb. It's like, yes, I may look dumb, but like there's plenty of Black skiers. Okay, you're fine, right? Like just consistently confronting those thought processes that are not in your best interest, that they're actually limiting you versus allowing you to expand. I would say if you are having those conversations with yourself, you're going to notice, okay, what is the sound of this voice? Like, what is the tone to it? Is it expansive? Is it warm? Is it welcoming? Is it like loving? Or is it sharp? Is it restrictive? Is it harsh? And then that's when you know the difference between your true voice and a negative thought process. It's if fear really attempting to keep you safe. And the more that you're willing to have that critical conversation, okay, wait, hang on. I just said that to myself. How does this feel? Does this feel right? No, this doesn't. And so choosing to move towards that feeling of expansion, of growth, of allowing, of like letting good things happen to you versus letting your brain keep you safe, or like the habits of thought that other people had passed on to you or that you picked up from other people run your life, because those aren't real. They're not serving you anymore. So do the things that serve you. Run towards the things that make you happy. Spend more time enjoying yourself and spreading more joy, and that's where all the magic is.
Where are you going in terms of your company here? What are you trying to do as far as ultimately? You're trying to be bigger online? You're trying to, once the pandemic is over, do you have like physical locations?
I have my stuff in physical locations.
Yeah.
However, the majority of them here in Ontario have closed down, of course, with the shutdown and the Rona.
Yeah.
I do have retail partners whom I love. I've got some in the US and I've got some in other places all over Canada. But ultimately, I'm kind of like Pinky in the brain. Like I'm trying to take over the world here, y'all.
You don't understand. That was in my head this whole time. I'm trying to take over the world. I'm telling you.
I'm just trying to take over the world. Like,
You don't understand. I'm sitting here and that's all in my head. What are we doing
Doing
tonight?
tonight,
Trying to
Binky.
take over the
trying to
world.
take over the world. Like, legit. I really want to change the way that the wellness industry sees Black professionals. I also really like, it's weird. I don't care about that, but I also do care about it in regards to like the representation. I don't care if people think that, look, you're special. It's like, no, I'm just here to just spread this message and touch people, right? I want to do, how they're like, oh, if you won $1 million, what would you do? I planned that out. Okay. Like I've got everything down from the scholarships in the Caribbean to support people in like entrepreneurship and like these kids in jumping into these creative arts. I've also thought about like setting up a fund so that there's reduced cost of housing for creatives here in Toronto so they can live and then also get like mental wellness and mental health support and really like have that personal growth process in there. I've also thought about like really doing things for our Indigenous brothers and sisters and making sure that they're taken care of, not only when it comes to mental health and mental wellness, but then just having access to things that they should have that they don't right now. And there's just so many things. And then of course, setting up creative arts centers and like really allowing our kids to learn our Black history. Like there's just so much stuff that I want to do, but then ultimately it really comes down to exposure for the brand. I want to be on like the Drew Barrymore show. I want to be on City Line. I want to be on like Marilyn Dennis show. I want to get picked up by Indigo. I want to have my products and services available in so many different places so that it just makes it easy for people to say yes to themselves and be like, oh, I know this brand because my stuff is so high quality. It really has that level of intention behind it. And so when people buy it and they experience it, they buy it over and over and over and over again. So my goal is just to make sure that people know about it and that they have access to it and that they're willing to say yes to themselves, to step into this successful version of them in whatever way I need to do in order to get that done, like taking over the world.
I think you have you've said it already. Just to follow up on this in terms of just, we always ask what just before we close. The last thing is that let's do it this way. Give us shout outs to individuals or company or whoever it is that you've worked closely that you want to do so. If you want to do so now, you can do that. And lastly, just a little encouraging message to our people out there, Black folks, who's maybe they're going through something, they're trying to do what you're doing, you just want to encourage them. But I think this whole conversation has been or this whole interview has been a big encouragement, right? For the last few minutes that we've been on. It's just been all encouragement, positive, I'm inspired now. I want to go take over the world.
I mean, it's fine. We could do it together. We could just like fight crime together. It'll be fine. So 3 businesses that I do want to shout out and is Jackie Clark from The Well Connected. She is one of my favorite people. She's been doing my PR and brand management for the last like year and a bit, and she's #amazing. You can find her on Instagram as The Well Connected or Is Well Connected. There's also Jamile Cruz from IND 101, my partner with the Inclusion Notebooks. And the Inclusion Notebooks look, again, just like this, really focused on supporting people in their allyship and anti-racism stuff. And I really want to get these into as many corporate entities as possible. So if you know somebody in corporate, their HR department, they need to buy this. And then I want to give a shout out to Rachel Kelly from Make Lemonade. She is amazing and continues to create so many spaces for women entrepreneurs to grow and to do great things. So, and like I've been a part of Make Lemonade, I think maybe 6 months after I got back to Canada, I joined Make Lemonade, and having that co-working space is really, really important, not only for the level of creativity and sisterhood, but just to be able to have friends and networking while you're working, because there's a lot of work. And then in regards to anything that I would want to say to leave people off with, I think one of my favorite Bible scriptures would work. Now, I'm not a huge Bible person, however, this passage is always, when it came to me, I was like, this is it. And it's Exodus 13:13, and I might mess this up, but it's the Lord will fight for you, and all you need to do is be still. And I think I'm so used to having to be the one that does the things, not allowing myself to give other people work or delegate things, and just having to be the catalyst, having to be the implementer, the doer. And it really allowed me to open up the space of understanding that I'm not doing it by myself and I don't have to do it by myself. I get to choose what I want, do the things that feel really, really good to me, that like brighten me up, that energize me. And then everything else is falling into place and being taken care of. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. I love it. I love
I love
it.
it too. I love it too. Listen, thank you for coming on. Thank you for being here. Please notes goods. Her name
Yeah.
is Cheryl
Are you sure it's
Sutherland.
Cheryl?
Listen,
No.
brain. Listen, Pinky. Listen. Wait, why you try to mess me up, man? I
I mean,
got the name. It's in writing. It's in writing. Unless somebody's trying to play with me. All right. You all need to go out there and support her. Go buy a journal, sticky notes, anything with her affirmations on it. You're an
beer
author,
decals, water bottle labels, affirmation cards,
Pens,
t-shirts,
pens,
sweaters. I got all
right?
the things,
tote
man. All the
bag.
things.
All of that. You need to just go hit her up. And Black Buzz was more than happy to have you on here today, man.
I'm so
We're
glad y'all reached out to me. This is so fun.
Yay! It
how
was
about this?
great.
We're happy that you reached back. We're happy that you reached back, but you stay around, Cheryl. We're just gonna sign off here. We're just gonna do our bit. Shout! I didn't say this earlier. Shay, shout out to T Kicks Tia with her shoe customization company. If you want your shoes customized, hit her up. She's on Instagram. She's on Facebook for T Kicks, and she's also on YouTube. Shout outs to Lamar, who was always there behind the scenes, making a lot of things work from a technical standpoint. He's just real busy, right? I got out to big up my people,
Oh, and
even
we
though they're
also
not
want
here.
to say a happy belated birthday to Lamar. We
All
have to put
right.
it out
Happy
there.
belated, Lamar.
Belated birthday. We want to tell everybody. Lamar celebrated his birthday last week, and it was after we did our Monday. So we want to say it out loud. Happy belated birthday to Lamar.
Big man, big man. And one final thing, I know that perhaps she wouldn't want me to say this. Of course, I always mention that she is a recording artist, right? She just dropped. Did you just drop? Is it a single? Enlighten me. She's
It's
a
a
she's a recording
single.
artist.
It's
It is a
a
single. She just here being humble and bashful with it, but
I just
talk about affirmation, huh? Talk to us just real quickly. Tell the folks, something
I
about
just
that.
I just dropped my first single. It's called 220 after Galatians 2:20. And I will just share the page with you. It'll just be easier because now I feel like I'm being put on the spot.
All right.
But it's a song that is near and dear to my heart, and it is something that I've worked on for a long time. And this is just a brief release that came out on the 5th.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So just check me out. This is my music page, and I'm also on Facebook under Shranella Lane Music.
All right, there it is. There it is. We're affirming. You see, I learned quick. All right, folks, we will see you next Monday. We, barring any technical difficulties, we'll be back here for 2:00, right? And make sure to go check out Miss Cheryl Sutherland at Please Notes Goods, right? And everything that she has on there, right? And and follow her Instagram. Yes, the coupon is, remind them, this coupon again is spring, you said?
Spring, 15% off with spring. And there's no like Y's instead of I's or nothing. It's easy.
All right. Follow her on Instagram. I'm hoping that everyone that watches this site will just immediately follow. All right. Until next week, we will catch up again. Catch you all later.